We have a new bike in the garage. If you watched any of my stuff back when I had scooters, I almost always had 3, sometimes 4 or 5 bikes in the garage. I've owned 3 at one time. Of course, it was a motorcycle and 2 scooters. So my garage felt kind of empty. My wife started riding, and my FZ6R was a little tall for her, and let's face it, I don't want her wrecking my brand new bike. So I got a great deal on this Ninja 250. It's an 05. It's got less than 10,000 miles on it. Just had a lot of work done. You know, chain, brand new tires, and it's not a bad little bike. You know, there's a fairing crack. This bar was bent down, and it'll hit the tank and squish your hand. But otherwise, it was in pretty good shape. My wife did go down on it. She bent this a little bit farther and put a crack in the windshield. I'm probably just going to chop it where the crack was. Yeah, I was surprised the first time I jumped on the highway how secure it felt, how stable it felt. But you will notice that in the first few gears, it just doesn't seem like it has enough power to get out of its own way. Course, once you're up in 5th and 6th gear, you're on the highway, you're doing 65, 70, 80, it seems to pull really nicely from those speeds on. So for highway passing power, don't believe everything you read or hear, because if you're going 65 plus, you know, you're going to be at 8, 9, 10,000 RPMs, but this has enough passing power to get you by. There are 2 things that I don't like about this Ninja 250, and maybe it's just this 250, but I think one of the things is maybe just this bike, and the other thing could be all 250s. I did test ride 2 other ex250s before we found this one. The thing that I noticed is at low speeds, it just feels like it wants to fall over. The bike does not feel stable to me, and you know, I'm not going to say I'm the best rider out there, because I'm not. You know, I'm still learning. I've only been riding motorcycles a few years. But I'd like to say that I have excellent throttle control, especially when it comes to easing on, easing off. When I try to U-turn with this thing, it feels like it's just going to fall over. But even when I do execute a proper U-turn, just easing on the throttle, so easy, it feels like the rear tire is slipping a little bit when you're coming around. So I'm really not sure what's up with that. I mean, the lightness feels great when you're throwing it around corners at 40, 50, 60, but at real low speed, it doesn't feel planted. And I'm thinking that's a Ninja thing. The thing I don't like that's specific to this bike is when you're on the highway, the needle stays right in about the middle for engine temp. But when you get to the side roads, the needle goes up pretty quickly. And it looks like the fan kicks on right about the time the needle hits that white hash under the red. So it doesn't actually get into the red, but it's not overheating, but it's coming close. So it worries me. I got a coolant temp switch off eBay, and I'm going to get a radiator. I already flushed all the coolant, so it's not that. So I'm going to get a thermostat, swap that in, and hopefully it'll engage lower. You know, I've talked to people on the forums who say, oh, you know, sometimes the fans kick on early and sometimes the fans just kick on late. And they seem like there's nothing wrong with it, but I just really want to go ahead and fix that. So all in all, the Ninja 250 is a great little bike. I don't think it's as stable. I think that if it's a proper size for you, the GS500 is probably a much better beginner bike in my eyes anyway. But I was actually surprised at how much I liked the Ninja 250 riding it for the first time. You know, I did notice that it's incredibly slow off the uptake, and this body style, you know, is incredibly ugly. Let's just face it. It's one of the worst looking bikes I've ever seen up close. But you know, it'll get you where you're going, and it'll be a good learner bike.